You're listening to KVRX HD3 Austin, streaming at koop.org. Radio for people, not for profit. This is Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. I'm Mike Wheat. Each week on our show, we go beyond the stacks and get to know the people and programs that make the library a hub of learning, technology, and inspiration for our community. Thanks to the kind folks at Writing on the Air. Boy, they just had a lot of fun. Mr. Jesse Sublett was in the house, everybody. For mentioning our show as they do. And as they mentioned, today we are speaking with Dani Sanchez and Marcos Martinez of the Twin Oaks Branch Library in the 78704. So how you guys doing? Welcome aboard.
Thanks, pretty good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'd like to do when we get on here is just give a general introduction to each of you guys. So Dani, let's start with you. You're in Austin for how long now?
So I've been here for almost 18 years. I graduated from Texas A&M and did not want to stay in College Station. And Austin was the closest, coolest place to go. And that's how I ended up here.
Where were you before College Station?
I grew up in North Texas, and then family's originally from Michigan.
Okay. So you're born and raised Texan, or raised anyway.
Yes, not born, but as one of my friends told me, he's like, "You've been here long enough. You're not a Yankee anymore."
Just stay out. So you found your way to Austin. What was your first gig? Do you remember?
In Austin? Mm-hmm. Yes, I have been pretty obsessed with books for a long time, so library is a good place for me. I worked at the Borders bookstore down south until it closed.
Was it just immediately after that you decided to try your way with the library?
No. I had a couple other things in between. I have always loved libraries, and I have to blame my mom for that. She used to read me bedtime stories.
Way to go,
every
Mom.
night. I know. I see that all the time with the Twin Oaks too. I'm like, oh, you're forming little people that are gonna have a little addiction later on. Yeah. So thanks, Mom. And so, a few years later, after the bookstore, that's when I started working at the library.
So you've been with APL now, I think about 2 years, a little over 2 years?
Almost 3, 2 as a permanent employee, yes.
And were you at Twin Oaks this whole time?
I was. And you know what? Twin Oaks is my branch. So I was really excited to go there. And it's so beautiful, which we'll talk about later.
Right.
And people come into the branch all the time talking about how beautiful it is and all the cool features it has, and it's very unexpected. And I always tell them, well, it's the best branch in the system until the new central opens, and then we'll probably give that over to them.
It's the best branch for that neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Building it in 78704, you can't just do any standard. That's the heart of keeping it weird. We've got to stick to that.
Very eclectic customers, too, which makes it even more awesome.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've got your favorites, but we won't have to call them out.
Yeah.
They're all
your secret's safe with me.
Yeah. And Marcos, let's get to know you, man. Where are you from?
Yeah, so born and raised in Texas. I am from deep South Texas. I grew up in Alamo, Texas, a small town. It's right between McAllen and Brownsville.
Not just a building.
Yeah, and so I, similar to the whole mom story and how that started out for Dani, my mom worked at a bookstore for about 30 years, and so I had my opportunity to sit in and get the feel for the environment, and I guess that's where it all started. So I started in the music library business when I got into college at Texas State University and switched over to public libraries, working down South Texas to North Texas to East Texas, and now here I am setting some deep roots in Austin, Texas. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man, you came on, I believe, to take on the capacity you're in now as the Twin Oaks branch manager.
That's right.
And you came from Houston?
Houston Public Library.
And what were you doing there?
I was managing a few other branches as well.
Okay.
Similar gig, and wanted to come out and
see what this
build a family, and see what's going on, all the hype in Austin, and be a part of the music scene.
Yeah. So you're currently married, or you said you're building a family?
Yeah, we're married.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we interesting fact, because of our careers in libraries, both of us are librarians. She was working on one side of the state and I was on the other, and we were trying to find a place to settle, and here we are.
Somewhere that would take you both. Well, I'm glad we could find a place for you both here. So how do you think it compares Austin to Houston public libraries? Some of the challenges you've come across here.
I think what's interesting about Austin is the community is very supportive of their public library, Austin Public Library, very vocal, and they speak for the library and what we do. So
yeah, we have a lot of
great
advocates.
place.
You didn't find that so much in Houston? Not nearly at the vocal range?
It's a much bigger city, a larger population, slightly different community, I think.
Okay. Well, man, we're going to have to go take a small break to hear all about the events that are happening all at the different branches, but we're going to come back and continue our conversation with Dani and Marcos.
My name is Blair Parsons, and I'm a reference librarian at the Falk Central Library. The 8th annual New Fiction Confab will be at the Falk Central Library Saturday, April 1st. This year, 6 participating authors are Dan Chown, Patty Yumi Cottrell, Alexander Kleeman, John Pipkin, Deb Olin Unferth, and Eugene Grace Wirtz. Author readings and moderated discussions begin at 2 o'clock and conclude at 5 o'clock. Running concurrently to the New Fiction Confab will be the Austin Lit Fair, a showcase of local publishers and literary organizations. Lit Fair participants include American Short Fiction, the Austin Review, Bat City Review, Books Are Not a Luxury, Fields Magazine, Old Books for New Teachers, and The Writing Barn. The New Fiction Confab and Lit Fair provide Austin an afternoon spent discussing contemporary fiction with authors shaping America's literary landscape. The fun begins at 2 o'clock Saturday, April 1st at the Falk Central Library.
This is Kathleen Houlihan, the teen librarian at the Falk Central Library downtown, bringing you all the teen and tween events happening across the Austin Public Library system this week. Thursday, March 30th, you can participate in free play gaming at the Carver branch starting at 3 p.m. On Friday, March 31st, you can do online gaming with Juntos Online Text Scavenger Hunt at the Southeast branch from 3:45 to 5:45 p.m. On Saturday, April 1st, there's a free writing workshop by author Alexandra Kleeman, sponsored by Badger Dog Writing Workshops at the Yarborough branch at 10:15 a.m. for teens. And then on Tuesday, April 4th, So Happy at the Manchac Road branch will teach you beginning sewing techniques with a fun felt project with all supplies provided. That'll be at the Manchac Road branch at 5 p.m. More library programs and details are at library.austintexas.gov/events.
This is Ann Menner, Youth Services Manager and Children's Librarian at the Old Quarry Branch. I get to tell you about some Austin Public Library events happening for children this week. There is something special happening at the Twin Oaks Branch this coming Saturday. The Austin Public Library Friends Foundation is sponsoring the Badger Dog Writing Workshop for kids, grades 3 through 5. Special guest author Eugene Grace Wirtz was born in Seoul, South Korea, and immigrated to the United States at age 6. Her debut novel, Everything Belongs to Us, tells the story of 2 young women of vastly different means who struggle to find their own way during the darkest hours of what's called South Korea's economic miracle. The result is rife with turmoil and desire, private anxieties and public betrayals, dashed hopes, and broken dreams. This Meet the Author program takes place Saturday, April 1st from 10:15 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. at the Twin Oaks Branch and features a writing workshop for kids in grades 3 through 5. Registration for writing workshops is online at the Austin Public Library Friends Foundation website, www.austinlibrary.org.
Austin Book Arts Center is a new nonprofit teaching book arts to promote literacy. Our classes include bookbinding, letterpress printing, calligraphy, book repair, and decorative papermaking. More info at atxbookarts.org.
And we're back with Volumes on koop.org. And again, we're here speaking with Twin Oak Branch Manager Marcos Martinez and Dani Sanchez, also from the Twin Oaks Branch. And we were just speaking with Marcos about his transition from Houston to Austin, all the wonderful things. So how are you finding the branch, man? And when you came in, and what have you had to introduce to the branch? Tell us a little bit about how Twin Oaks is these days.
Yeah, so coming in, we've had Twin Oaks Branch Library, the youth librarian there, Stephanie Shipman, has
Phenomenal.
done amazing things in keeping things going for the children's programming for kids and family programming. And so what we wanted to do, myself and the staff there, was provide more opportunities for adults, more programming opportunities. Because as we know, libraries are no longer just about the books.
Right.
Public libraries have shifted in this century, not just the technology aspect or the ebooks and other online platforms that we offer. That's all great. But we've been about, and we're refocusing what we've always been about, and that is the people. Really the folks, the community that come in to use the library. That's what it's about. The books, technology are all resources, tools for them to use to engage with others and learn from that and get in discussions and act upon.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
like we've always been about connectability. Now
Exactly.
we can offer it virtually as well
Right.
as in real life.
Exactly. And programs are just another element for us to facilitate those discussions and engagements amongst community groups. And so what we did last year was offer a new series called 50 Shades of Green. We brought in a number of speakers to talk about different topics on sustainability. One of them was about natural burials. It's a pretty interesting topic. Added to it, we've established a regularly rotating, every quarter or season, if you will, a book sale. And that brings out a couple hundred folks looking at all of our materials that are up for sale.
Now, is that a thematic sale? You ever cater it to a season or particular happening?
Yeah, you'll find a running theme where it's a winter book sale or a reader spring fling, summer sale or sizzling sale. So we kind of play with those terms there.
And just for the audience, the books you sell are typically they're either donated or they've been discarded because we no longer circulate them, or we had too many to circulate. They weren't circulating enough. That's where these books come from, correct?
Exactly. And at Twin Oaks and other branch libraries, we are serving as satellite locations for the Recycle Read store that's up in the north part of Austin.
On North Loop, yeah. Great, man. And so you have what do you have as far as at your particular branch resources for job search or even language assistance? Do you guys have anything like that set up yet?
Yeah, well, we've got a collection in our nonfiction. As soon as you walk in our doors, you'll find materials that are available on those topics. But really coming to the desk or finding a staff member on the floor, one could ask for help in research on locating those resources online that we offer through our virtual library, as well as other community contacts, organizations that we can get them connected to start a business or help with their small business, or even find a job.
Yeah. Like I know we have our permanent locations, Carver, that has a source and a center for that, and then we have, at the Little Walnut branch, we have our center for new residents of this country. So you can always source them there.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself more of a progressive librarian?
I think so.
You have some views on what it means to be a library of the future?
Well, I've kind of already touched on that with what I think libraries, what they are now and what they should be, and that is providing more programming, more opportunities for community members to come in and take something to leave with knowledge or information or contacts to act, take action when they leave the library doors.
So growing and more offering experiences and taking what you can get from our materials further with offering experiences in that job field or that technological advance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Absolutely. Jump on in,
Okay.
Dani.
So I see a lot of people using the Twin Oaks branch I think because it's just such a beautiful, like relaxing space, and the outdoor spaces that it has, and some of the architectural features that it has. Also, it's a very green, solar panel rain barrel system, which I think that when we were doing the 50 Shades of Green, that was kind of like we wanted to highlight. We're like, this branch is all about sustainability, so let's bring in a program that highlights that stuff too. Yeah. So I just, like I said, I tell everyone that I think it's the best APL location right now. So I just wanted to reiterate why that was the case. And it's a beautiful place. It has some reclaimed materials in it. It has some artwork. I think Marcos knows more about that kind of stuff, like the artists and what they're named and everything. But
does anyone recall off the top of their head the age of that building now? Like how long?
6 years, so 6.5.
We're going on to 7 at the end of this, or towards the end of this year.
Yeah, so it was built when Austin really was starting to focus on, LEED requirements and all that as far as being a green building city.
Some folks who have been here for a while know that Twin Oaks has been established not just since 2010 in this building, but way before that. Last year, we celebrated 60 years serving the South Austin community. Originally, it was located over at the Twin Oaks Shopping Center, which is still present there on the corner of First and Old Torf.
No, Congress and Old Torf.
Okay. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Our engineer, DJ Harris, knew it well. I think he grew up going there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing the old photos of that one, and I was like, wait, they used to have them in shopping centers? And then I learned the Windsor Park branch is where I had started with APL, and I started in the building that exists now, but it had also been in a shopping center across the street before they'd built that building. So that was new to me. I came from a small town. Libraries were their own standing building. I'd never thought that you could put one in a shopping plaza, but I guess you do what you can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we have them on a bike, on an RV. So, you guys are doing great programs as far as the advancement of and betterment of mankind, but we also want to have some fun.
Yes, of
so
course.
You guys...
libraries are totally fun.
What is this now, the second year running of your program?
It is. It is.
And
we started it last year.
Program we're speaking of is the 2:00 Tunes, the live music series at the Twin Oaks branch. You guys are about to kick off your second year.
We have already done 1 month. So last year we started in April and did May and June. As you guys probably know, the weather is pretty unpredictable.
Yeah.
And as of this year, I think it only rains on weekends.
Yeah.
So we're gearing up for another rainy Saturday. But what's awesome is that meeting room structure that we have that can open out to the public. So we still have it, rain or shine, blizzard, hot, whatever is happening, whatever Texas weather throws at us, we still make it happen. But we're excited. Yeah, we want to promote it. And this seems like, of course, the perfect place to promote it, the radio.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And when you have these bands, it is amplified? They're plugged in?
Most of the time. We did have a performance that was actually inside of the branch, and it was trio romantico style of music, and it was was it acoustic?
The great cowboy Manuel.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we had him at
He
Central
played over
as well.
at Central, and then we had him over down at Twin Oaks.
Good storyteller.
And it was beautiful, and and it worked inside the space. But when we do it in the amphitheater, which is where we'd like to do it,
right?
Definitely have amplification. In the meeting rooms, it kind of depends on the band. We've done it both ways. It depends, how many instruments do they have, and how many people, and how loud are they already, their instruments already. So, I believe we plan on doing amplification this weekend with the Southsiders.
The Southsiders.
Yeah.
Now they're a strongly R&B standards kind of group, right?
Yes, they are a blues band that seems like have been around for a little while. I was looking at their schedule. They play all the time.
Yeah.
They have like 3 gigs this week, or maybe even 4. But
the one that matters,
right,
is
2:00 Tunes this Saturday.
This Saturday.
At 2:00, as the name suggests. Yes.
At the Twin Oaks branch.
I got to say, we're not fooling. even though it's April 1st.
Yeah.
2 o'clock tunes.
They will be there either inside or outside.
Yes.
Something I want to add, though, that in case listeners may not know, 2 o'clock tunes. The idea here, what we wanted to do was really highlight the local artists, the local music scene. So the criteria for folks to come out and be featured on this live concert series is you must be from Austin, playing in Austin.
Nice. I can appreciate that. Growing up in Austin, South Austin was normally my home. I think for the first time here, the last 6-7 years, I've lived north of the river. 78704 was my home. And I can't imagine a better location for doing a live music, venue for local musicians other than right in the heart of 78704. We need something to keep it weird over there.
Yeah, and that's something that the community wanted. They expressed when they were designing this facility that opened in 2010, Twin Oaks, was we'd like to have some place, and this happens to be the amphitheater, where the neighbors community there in 78704 and other areas throughout Austin can come out and listen to some tunes. And so that's exactly what we're doing, is providing those tunes and using the space, that outdoor amphitheater. Of course, it's going to be probably raining, but we have some plans for that.
Yeah, Marcus, you said something that reminded me. I've heard more than one person reference how they really appreciate that you're the manager over there, that, coming in, being new to Austin, you relatively, pretty quickly picked up what the neighborhood desired and really started speaking to that language. I've heard that at least 3 different people.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so good job to you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for telling us about the branch and, of course, 2 o'clock tunes. More about 2 o'clock tunes can be found at library.austintexas.gov/event-tags/music. And coming right back after this next break, we're going to hear a little bit from an upcoming group that'll be performing at the 2 o'clock tunes. You're listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show.
On Co-op 91.7 FM, Hornsby, Austin, radio for people, not for profit.
Support comes from the Bullock Museum's Texas Focus film series celebrating the 50th anniversary of Bonnie and Clyde, starring Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, with a 35mm screening Thursday, April 20th in the Texas Spirit Theater. Reception starts at 6 p.m. Tickets at thestoryoftexas.com.
And we're back to Volumes. KOOP 91.7 FM or KOOP.org. And we've been speaking with Dani Sanchez and Marcos Martinez, both of the Twin Oaks branch, about the 2 o'clock tunes. And upcoming this next Saturday is, one more time?
This coming Saturday is a band called the Southsiders, and they are a blues band from Delta style to urban funk and blues.
And that's at 2 o'clock Saturday at the Twin Oaks branch, which is 1800 South 5th Street. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
In the 78704. And then is it the next one is the 29th? Is that correct?
The next one will be, it's always on the first Saturday of the month.
Excuse me.
And the next one will be in May, also the last one of this season, May 6th, I believe. And the band is a reggae band that I think they say that they formed in Chicago but grew up in Austin or something to that effect.
But they're currently here now?
They are currently here,
right.
Yes.
Just kind of hash out a little bit on the process. We've put together a database of a lot of local artists that either we found just simply on the internet, verify that they're here in Austin, but also just picking up contacts here and there from other groups that heard about what we were doing when last year's series, and so we picked up some names. So with Lion Heights, I heard them playing at another venue. I can't remember, but they landed on there, and here they are playing on May 6th.
So are you getting word of mouth, like bands coming in, like, hey, our buddies played this thing. Are you guys still doing this? We would love to be part of that.
It has happened, and that's really nice because like trying to get the process down and not have to like scrap at the at the end of the week to try to like convince someone was an issue last year, and so now we're building up buzz, and we're having more opportunities of people hearing about the series and, I'd like to participate, or I know someone that would be great for this. I think we get emails like that, and so that's nice to like build our database.
Sure.
And then these people that have performed at the branch have overwhelmingly loved it, and they're pass on our information to perform at any of the libraries.
Yeah, I'm sure for them it's got to open them up to new audiences. You play club circuit, well, that's an audience, and that's the only ones you're going to have buying your materials, whatever you do. So to go to a whole nother venue where you've got families and kids who can't get to those concerts.
Right. That is definitely one of the upsides of that. And what we advertise, we're like, well, this is, probably an audience that you haven't seen before, or we can combine, like you promote on your end, we'll promote on our end, and then we'll get like a nice diverse crowd, and you'll get new people that experience your music, and we'll get new people that haven't been to a library or to this library.
Or just the simple fact of giving back to your community for patronizing, for coming into the library.
Yeah. And this is a family-friendly event. I don't think we mentioned, but we have a little component for the kids, the littles. Our youth librarian there at Twin Oaks, Stephanie Shipman, always puts together some fabulous music-themed, music-inspired crafts for the little ones. So it's always changing each month, and we're planning to have that again.
I have to say that was an excellent touch. I remember that from the first flyer putting together. That little inclusion there. It takes away any excuse why, I've got my kids with me that day, and bring them. We have stuff.
They're welcome.
Yeah.
And the parents love it because the kids are off doing something, with the children's librarian, and so they can focus on the concert.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a win-win.
Are they staged away somewhere where they're not able to listen to the music, or are they all in the same area?
They're all in the same
area. They can enjoy
area.
the bands as well.
Yes, and oftentimes they're making
them.
musical instruments, so often they're like, woo, contributing.
Joining in. Oh, that's got to be fun. That's got to be a lot of fun. The kids are loving that. I had done a Dia event, Dia de los Muertos, at the Southeast Branch, and they had a band playing. And at the end, they were letting a lot of the children use the instruments, and oh my gosh, did they all come alive. And I think the musicians were enjoying it just as much. They were enjoying teaching the kids how to use it. They were enjoying watching the kids' interest in what they do.
We actually had a request after, on one of the comment cards, after one of the 2 o'clock tunes performances, for what they called a musical instrument petting zoo.
Yeah.
And that's a great idea, and it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure the band needs to be willing. It's their equipment usually.
True. Or we find other instruments.
Well, kid, this is a 1960s Fender or whatever. Not your dad's average guitar. But yeah, in this city, there's definitely no shortage of people. And musicians I know have trying in that myself at several points in my life. You get to a point where you feel like a dime a dozen. It's really a nice opportunity to try and find a new venue with a new audience. So I really love this program, and I wish you the best of luck, and good job on you guys for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping us promote it.
Absolutely. Again, thank you both. We were talking to Dani Sanchez and Marcos Martinez from the Twin Oaks branch. And again, libraryaustintexas.gov/event-tags/music for 2 o'clock tunes. Thank you all. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Details at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.
Want to give a special thanks to our audio engineer, DJ Harris, and our volunteer production assistant, Sev Corson.
And thanks to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song: Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and APL's very own Mike Wheat on percussion.
Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on KOOP.org Community Radio.